Welcome to our video on deer-resistant perennials for shade gardens. If you live in an area with deer, you know how challenging it can be to maintain a beautiful garden. But don't worry, there are several perennials that are resistant to them and can add color, texture, and interest to your garden. In this video, we will show you some of the best deer-resistant perennials for shade gardens, and we will also give you some tips on how to care for them. But first, let's talk about why deer can be a problem in your garden. Deer love to eat tender foliage, buds, and flowers, and they can quickly decimate your plants. In addition, they can trample on your garden beds and create a mess. That's why it's important to choose plants that deer are less likely to eat. Deer-resistant perennials are not completely immune to deer browsing, but they have some qualities that make them less attractive to them. These plants have tough, leathery, or hairy leaves that deer find unpalatable, or they have a strong fragrance that deer dislike. Now, let's take a look at some of the best deer-resistant perennials for shade gardens. First up, we have the astilbe. This beautiful fern-like plant produces feathery plumes of flowers in shades of pink, red, and white. It's also a great plant for adding texture to your garden. Astilbes prefer moist, well-drained soil and partial shade, and they can bloom from late spring to midsummer. Next is the bleeding heart. This delicate-looking plant produces heart-shaped flowers in shades of pink and white. It's a great addition to any shade garden. Bleeding hearts prefer fertile, well-drained soil and partial shade, and they can bloom from late spring to early summer. Third on our list is the hosta. This versatile plant comes in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors, and is great for filling in shady areas. It's also deer-resistant and easy to care for. Hostas prefer moist, well-drained soil and partial to full shade, and they can bloom from midsummer to early fall. Last but not least, we have the pulmonaria. This plant is known for its striking silver-speckled foliage and early spring flowers. It's also a great plant for attracting pollinators. Pulmonarias prefer moist, well-drained soil and partial shade, and they can bloom from late winter to early spring. These are just a few of the many deer-resistant perennials that can thrive in your shade garden. Other deer-resistant perennials that you may want to consider include hellebores, brunneras, torellas, and epimediums. Do your research and choose the ones that will work best for you and your garden. Now that you know which perennials are deer-resistant, let's talk about how to care for them. Like all plants, they need some basic care to thrive in your garden. One of the most important things you can do is to prune your perennials regularly. This will help to keep them healthy and promote new growth. Pruning also helps to control the size and shape of your plants. Another important aspect of caring for perennials is watering. Most perennials prefer moist, well-drained soil. Water your plants deeply and infrequently to encourage deep root growth. Be sure to water in the morning or evening to avoid evaporation and to prevent water from sitting on the leaves overnight, which can lead to disease. Finally, it's important to fertilize your perennials regularly. Fertilizing provides essential nutrients that your plants need to grow strong and healthy. Use a slow-release fertilizer in the spring and midsummer to give your plants a steady supply of nutrients throughout the growing season. With some basic care and attention, your deer-resistant perennials will thrive in your shade garden, adding color, texture, and interest to your landscape. And best of all, you won't have to worry about the deer eating them. Thank you for watching our video on deer-resistant perennials for shade gardens. We hope you found it informative and helpful. Please subscribe to our channel for more gardening tips and inspiration. Until next time, happy gardening!